Young and Beautiful 1-0 up. They did manage to take Temple, but now we are moving to the Mecha base, actually, for this one. Both teams getting ready to go.
The turtle eventually made it to the water. It's the only way to frame this. Yep, currently Young and Beautiful are 1-0 up. We do see Angry Titans behind, but it's been so long, I can't really remember what both teams ran. But here, it's going to be goats all day long as both teams try and warm up again. Some of which went off and had some food. Now they're back, ready to play out this round 3. Everything's been delayed a little bit, as we said before. Right now, we're back into game, and luckily, nobody's been kicked out.
We got May on the field at the moment. Only God's doing wonders with the right click so far. Point has activated as they are looking just to pressure things down. Diva in a lot of trouble here. If Danny actually gets DMA'd, that's going to be the go signal for Angry Titans as they do just march onto the point. Manage to get Tonic as well. The tank line now starting to fall for their opponents. And there we go. They're just going to muscle their way through, take everybody down, no problem. And they should secure the points for themselves. Only God feeling pretty good about himself there as they just whittle their way through.
Well, that may definitely make sense. It's much like Control Center, right? You have these very narrow corridors that you can block off completely. But also, what makes sense is on the point, you have these like RNG walls that like to come up. So using a May in those situations makes a lot of sense. So now Young and Beautiful need to decide which direction they're coming from.
Yeah, and Urki actually doing a really good job scouting there, by the way, just using the Brigitte to spot around corners, see where the enemy team's coming from, and they just know exactly where they're going, they know exactly what the target is. Discord on that Reinhardt as they just take him down straight away. There we go, just finishing blows, no problem for Angry Titans at the moment, and it's like, this is going to be really difficult to crack. There's 2 narrow doorways to go through, and you've got a May to try and get past.
And she has a Blizzard too, so she's raring to go. You have Lulshish with the Earth Shatter, just sort of putting that together with Urki's Shield Bash means that it's going to be a nice, clean Earth Shatter that gets through a lot of targets. So they just need to be aware of where they're coming from. They haven't actually thought about the bottom area. Now Lulshish is going to try and jump on them as much as he possibly can.
Graviton Surge in the back pocket for early vote at the moment. He's just looking for some sort of angle through. Doesn't even need it so far, though. That's a beautiful Shatter that does end up managing to get a couple. They have to combine the Graviton Surge and Shatter just to try and get some results out of this one. Using that Transcendence as well to stay alive. But now, Blizzard and Transcendence being employed. This is certainly a death knell for this offensive. And it's looking good for Angry Titans as they just continue cleaning up. Looks like Sooner is going to be going down sooner rather than later. There he goes. Just any moment now. Should be able to finish him off. Good lord, he's taken a while to die. Danny now getting taken out as well, and they did flip the point, at least so that long fight did sort of play in their favor, but still it's Angry Titans with the advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's quite surprising that Young and Beautiful managed to get to the point that quickly that they were able to turn it over. So it's gone in their favor to an extent. They've almost matched them in percentage points, at least. Urki has a rally. Probably will use it in a couple of seconds' time before this engagement really starts. No real ultimates coming out the side of Young and Beautiful, other than this bomb that doesn't quite get as many targets as Danny was hoping for.
Yeah, Danny just sort of threw that one from downtown right into the team, but when you got like a May, you got a Brigitte, you got a Reinhardt, a Zarya, everybody has protection from those sorts of attacks, so everyone just sort of used their cooldown and made sure they were okay. Nice disengage as well coming out from Angry Titans, just pulling back a little bit. Tonic now starting the engagement, just having a bit of a smackathon back and forth. The RNG walls have joined us, but Danny gets caught in the Graviton Surge from behind, will get taken down nice and quickly. Sooner now in a little bit of trouble, as well as the Blizzard once again does come out on the point. 2 Reinhardt's having a bit of a collision in there. There goes the Transcendence as well, but it might be too little too late. This is a touch of a Hail Mary to keep the game going. Lulsish managing to land the Earth Shatter, brings everybody down, and evens up the score here for the Angry Titans.
I really like the disengage because it took Young and Beautiful into an area where Angry Titans didn't have any support ultimates of their own just yet, so they went to the area where there's a lot of RNG and they can almost play around these walls, which is, when you have a May on your team, quite easy to do, being able to make more areas that Young and Beautiful can't go. But now we're onto a much more open part of the map. Typically you do see the same comps being ran here, only God obviously not changing over to May this time. So it's going to be interesting to see if Young and Beautiful take the strategy that they're running right now. They've got a Winston in place, a Diva and a McCree lined up. So whether they run this or not remains to be seen just yet, but it might be a nice response to what we're going to be seeing coming out of Angry Titans, as they're looking to go a very traditional float scum. Actually no, typical goats, because the Moira's been switched over.
Yeah, so bringing out the Moira, the Brigitte once again coming out from, the Brigitte and the Orisa coming out from Young and Beautiful. They're just going to go straight back to spawn, however. They spotted out the enemy team is running Goats. They're probably going to try and swap to Zen Goats. Oh no, they're going to the Sombra. Is this going to be a Sombra Doomfist? Sombra Farah from the looks of things. So they're going to be playing the high ground. They're going to be looking to spam down on the Goats comp on the ground.
They want to just chip away at them. The issue is you don't really have that instant kill potential bursting down targets like a Doomfist would. But Pharah has got these changes. The Mercy combo makes a lot of sense, but Angry Titans are going to easily be able to take this point. As we don't really have the bodies for Young and Beautiful to be able to try and contest that, so they've got to fight from a distance, try and find a pick, but it is difficult when you have Guts come chasing after Ding.
Yeah, they just all pile onto Ding. I mean, it's the only thing they can really hit here. Everything else just goes to high ground and just runs away from them. They actually managed to get onto Gustav as well. Nice pick up for Onigov there as they continue to find these kills on the sideline. Danny getting taken out now, and it's looking increasingly bad for Young and Beautiful as they are going to have to go back to spawn and just try and regroup. And one of the issues here with Goats is that if they can manage to get some momentum and start holding these chokes, it's going to be a little bit tricky.
Could be very difficult, so it might be a composition problem that is going to bite Young and Beautiful in the backside. Luddy is currently fighting against Suna, has to boot them away. The rally does get used, so they have a little bit more. Sorry, no, that was just a passive activating. But they've sort of separated Tonic off, and he has to sort of dive out, try and get away. So right now, Angry Titans are in full control of this. But then again, they were on the first point of Busan almost an hour ago, and we did eventually see Young and Beautiful being able to take it.
Graceful almost has that barrage built up. The Forest is continuing to rain death from above. Will managed to jump away. The Diva putting a lot of pressure on, as is that Moira. There is the nano boost, though. EMP coming out at the same time. So Graceful scooping himself up a pile of kills. Gets himself a triple with that one. But can they finish this one off? Graviton Surge does actually, did that get eaten? I didn't quite see, unfortunately, but Ding getting pressured out on the back line here, supports in a spot of trouble, managed to isolate Urk. He does get the hack on him, and will take him out, and it looks like Young and Beautiful will flip the point.
Really went in their favour, the EMP barrage combo, but the issue is it takes so long to get those ultimates together to use them, so they don't really have the luxury of being able to do it yet again. As much damage as Graceful's putting in, he's only 45% and having a new ultimate, and there isn't really that much time to take these engagements too, so Angry Titans are on 77% of this point. Now seeing Young and Beautiful take it up slightly, and they're priming themselves to take the fight, but it's going to be difficult to do that with Godscom, and they have a couple of ultimates building up slowly themselves.
Yep, Rally coming out for the offense. Diva Bomb as well, just trying to catch maybe the Pharmacy out in the sky. Doesn't quite manage to do so, but Lortius does find Tonic on the floor. That could open up potential for an Earth Shatter here to get something done. There comes the barrage from the sky, though. Justice raining down. Diva Bomb even being used to cover it slightly, but unfortunately he only really gets one on the back of that. You still have that threat on the floor as well. Lortius, I got my eye on him. He's looking primed and ready, but honestly, he probably doesn't even need to at this point, as they just continue slowly clearing targets off the point here. They've managed to sort of get themselves set up, eliminate a lot of these threats, and it looks like Angry Titans might just be flipping this one back.
They flipped it over, and now we're starting to see Young and Beautiful stagger into it a little bit, which doesn't really help the fact that they need a nice clean engagement coming in with their EMP. So they scrap her. They start to run away as much as possible. Suna's still in the back line, trying to maybe get into a good position to throw in the EMP, but it's not an awful lot to throw it with. 94% on the point. We do see Tonic changing over to Wrecking Ball. They want to try and touch the point and get overtime.
EMP comes out, but crucially, Ludi did not get caught by that. He was hiding off to one side, so gets the sound barrier out. They even use the nano boost on this one, but it just doesn't turn into anything. Now, Coalescence coming out from IPN, Graviton Surge catching one or two as well. The kill feed is lighting up towards Angry Titan's favor, and it looks like they might just be bringing this one back for the longest Busan match that has ever occurred, ladies and gentlemen. Angry Titans standing strong.
Looking really solid, but Young and Beautiful don't look too far behind. A lot closer match that we've seen. This time at least, we will be going to Assault next, where it can be a very different playstyle. It's going to be interesting to see what Angry Titans brings to the stage, but we haven't seen an awful lot of Sombra or Doomfist or any at all, actually, coming out of those.
This
so they
is
need to be
us
so
like
careful.
just resetting the map. By the way, if the player of the game is on the screen, it's just us trying to make sure that Young and Beautiful had their 1-0 advantage. So player of the game goes to Luddy, who's basically farming some AFK people. Incredible. Well done there. Amazing play out of that lad. But yes, we will be going to Assault next. It will be Young and Beautiful's choice, depending on what they want to play. They have to choose between Horizon, Luna Connolly. I always say Colony. Well, no, I said it right that time. Connolly. I can't English. I can't words, apparently. Or Hanamura, which I can actually say for a change. So, Horizon. Ooh. We're seeing more Horizon than expected. I was thinking everyone would pick Hanamura, but no. Bringing Horizon out to bring it back.
I think you can play around the fact that it has high ground to try and separate some of these teams that just want to run triple tank, triple support, or at least gives them ideas to play different strategies. And we've seen already kind of that Angry Titans doesn't play the Sombra Doomfist, as I mentioned, and we've seen quite a lot out of that with Young and Beautiful. So I think we're seeing a very experimental team that don't quite want to play the meta versus one that is very dedicated to what they're playing and can make it work. So I think this is Young and Beautiful's most solid chance of being able to get a map win here, just because they can play lots of different heroes and roles and be quite fluid and flexible with them. So it kind of makes sense that they pick Horizon over Hanamura, which can be very, one-dimensional, run onto the point with tanks as fast as possible.
Yeah, if you do manage to get sort of the goats or any goats-esque comp onto the point, it can be very difficult to dislodge them. At least for the first point, can snowball quite dramatically into second. But for Horizon, things are a little bit different. It's much easier to get surrounds on those goats comps. You have like a lot of high ground to play around with, so you can easily start poking from multiple angles, maybe get a few quick, cheeky Doomfist kills as well, as people have to sort of run through the map and sort of squirrel their way through. Very easy for the Doomfist to perhaps land a punch, get something critical like a Lucio, and you can end up just winning out regardless. So then, Young and Beautiful need to start bringing this one back. They are in a bit of a dire situation in the tournament in general. They are down to 0-2, so they've taken 2 losses so far. If they can start clawing it back here, though, taking a win against Angry Titans, who, personally speaking, they're probably my favorites for the tournament, not just because they're hosting, but just also because they are really a good team and sort of the most formidable going into this. I suspect that Young and Beautiful, well, if they manage to take a win here, it'll feel really good for them and perhaps put their tournament chances just slowly back on the line.
They're taking advantage of the fact that the loser picks a map right. So they're also defending first, which means that they will not be setting precedent of where this objective can go, how much percentage on the point you get, for example, that kind of stuff. I imagine we'll see it go a lot further than it did with Wind Strike earlier on, but it's still not quite, just because they picked that map doesn't mean that Young and Beautiful are going to be able to sort of just win this one out anyway. But you can already see that this is the kind of competition that they want to be running. So they want to pick these maps where they can play this kind of comp, really make it difficult for Angry Titans to run what they want to run.
And okay, Only God gonna be on the Tracer. I really hope they actually do play this. You can run these sort of Tracer Sombra strats where you basically try and send the Sombra into the back line. You have Tracer and Sombra on the point at the same time, try and bait down something like a Diva, get a hack, and then combine, they can get some kills. So Only God's gonna try and make his way through and try and just sort of poke his way around onto that back line. Also giving some scouting info for the team, while Urki's gonna be trying to do the same as well, just trying to scout his way forward. Danny doing a good job so far though, just putting a little bit of pressure on, making sure Urki can't quite stealth his way through. So Only God touches, manages to pull everybody back as we have a slow setup for the dive so far.
Really slow. They're taking the time because they know that they need to with this kind of comp. Otherwise, they're going to end up in a position. And also getting the Moira set up that she can do a lot of healing. And maybe get the Coalescence out early is a big aspect to what IPN can do for this. So right now we're seeing Angry Titans taking their time. They're on the point. They aren't dead just yet. But they need to start getting picks. And that's how Only God starts off this fight.
Yeah, this Tracer's going to start doing a lot of damage. Without a Brigitte on the field, it's sort of, we had a time away from Tracer. We haven't seen her in a little while, but it's easy to forget that this girl does a huge amount of damage, but is extremely frail, as Gustav demonstrates, managing to get a quick flick. Takes the Tracer down by putting a headshot in. We did have a nano boosted Doomfist during all of this as well, but unfortunately not really finding the results too far. Does manage to dupe the crucial EMP as well. Dodges out after getting that Moira kill, and he's just continuing to turn this around for his team. So Graceful, just gracefully and artfully, manages to keep Young and Beautiful on this fight.
The issue with Angry Titans comp is that they had the EMP, but they didn't really have any follow-up to go with it. That was a great shield actually by Lolfish to separate Ding and Gustav, and Gustav gets taken out because Yana can't heal him. But it still looks like Young and Beautiful are going to still be in control here. As I was saying, Urki had the EMP and they had to bring out the Coalescence alongside because they didn't really have too much to go with it. But whilst the payload, they started to take up in favour of Angry Titans, we're still seeing Young and Beautiful contesting this.
Yeah, the wanting to go in, they did commit the EMP just to sort of try and slow this down. They have lost Graceful as well, who's been so pivotal in holding this defense for as long as possible. Gustav now going to come in with the Transcendence though. Diva Bomb nicely contained there by Lulcich as well. Sabre now to counter for the re-engage. Let's see if they can find anything on the back of that. Pulse Bomb does come out, and well, all the DPS just combines to get rid of Danny once that threat has been removed. It's so much harder just to stay on the point. Now Winston trying his best. Tonic though taking so much damage so quickly. He's being ignored a little bit now as he does start to bounce around. Ding actually managing to get onto IPN as well. A lot of healing starting to drop off here as the fight does slowly devolve. Beautiful Sleep Dart does turn into a punch hit as well. So Graceful has rejoined us in the fight, and he continues to just be pivotal on this defense.
Ding is just so keen to throw the Nano Beast onto Graceful in every single case too. Again, wasn't really necessary. It seemed that the fight was over, but just to make sure that Ding stays alive. Now Gustav is halfway to having his Transcendence too, so I guess they can rotate those ultimates if they need. EMP is ready on his defense. Suna is ready to go, but Urki also has it, as well as a few more ultimates on Angry Titan's side. They just need to get into position.
EMP does go off, and only Ghost looking in the background, but not before Graceful just finds himself a double kill. Everything going Young and Beautiful's way in that fight. Didn't, like, got EMP, didn't care, just turned it in all into kills in their favor, and that is the economic dream for Young and Beautiful, ladies and gents.
A perfect situation. Suna just heading up a little bit further to get some information. He's trying to get the hack onto potentially IPN, who has the coalescence ready, but they just need to be a bit more conservative and defensive. Keep an eye on their backline, because only God's ready to go with a pulse bomb. If Graceful had nothing to say for it already, though.
And okay, Graceful spotting his time. There is like a huge window here for Angry Titans. You can see Urki setting up at the moment. He's looking at Gustav. He wants that tasty Zenyatta, that 50 hit point target that's going to have all of his shields just blown away by the EMP. Goes for it now, dives straight onto him. They do manage to take it out. First blood goes towards them. Now, can they continue the momentum they need? Not without Graceful saying something about it. Does manage to get a kill, but does go down as he dives into that back line. And only God continuing to try and put some pressure out where he can, though. Continues to find the shots. Suna in a lot of trouble here. Has to just bounce his way out. A couple of tanks left on the point, but that's really not going to be enough. Diva Bomb comes out, does get contained quite nicely. Lilfish in a lot of trouble here on the point, though. And Young and Beautiful just will not be dissuaded. They are just continuing this hold. They can do this, Ryan. They can absolutely do this now.
And they just bring out Transcendence just in time with an EMP. Is there going to be any follow-up? No, it does actually get Lucio, who manages to sound barrier. So Luddy keeping Angry Titans in this fight. It does look like Young and Beautiful might need to start disengaging. They're taking time to just be in and out of this fight, trying to get protection and get healing as they're needed. But Ding is now back and Lucio dies, and the payload is 99% on the point. So Young and Beautiful just holding on to this for as long as possible, forcing out any ultimates, but it does look like it's going to be spun here.
And Angry Titans now with a huge advantage. When you wipe the enemy team at this last possible moment, they don't have enough time to respawn. They don't have enough time to get back in position. So Angry Titans just going to storm down straight onto the point. They just want to get there as fast as they can, turn this into a couple more kills, keep this snowball rolling. And if they do, they will have so much momentum, it'll be so hard to dissuade them. We see a Brigitte coming out from Graceful, who's been so pivotal on this Doomfist so far. A very defensive player. These guys, Diva Bomb does go into the backline, doesn't find anything, but the point has already been pushed to about halfway. And Moira ult now coming out, Tonic in a lot of trouble. Beautiful anti-heal grenade does come through, but the EMP is just going to stop anyone capitalizing on the back of it. The result's just not quite happening. Ding managing to land one of those, but still not getting it. Beautiful EMP does come out, though, from the defense. They do manage to strip away a lot of defenses. Now, Gustav, with that Transcendence, might just be able to squeak this one out, but there's still not enough conversion. There's just no turning into kills. Danny now in a lot of trouble on the point. He's getting slowly killed off. Sound barrier comes up, point, tick it up, and they've done it! Angry Titans have managed to confirm on second.
Big sort of mistake to maybe coming out of Young and Beautiful, dedicating so much to try and hold point one that they didn't really have an awful lot to stem the flow when point two rolled around. As you sort of pointed out, Angry Titans just went straight to the objective. You saw Loshish not even jumping into the backline of Young and Beautiful. He just sat on the point, put a shield up and protected it to make it much more difficult for Young and Beautiful to get onto the point and contest it and try and win out those fights. So really well played by Angry Titans to have the tenacity to take point A, but also to take their momentum, any ult economy that they had, and synergize it well into a swift take of point B. It's about a minute it took for them to take it.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you're trying to do these sort of last-minute holds, right? It's very, very easy to end up in situations where snowballs happen. When you lose a couple of people and they just instantly manage to get onto second point, you don't have time to set up, you don't have time to even get everybody out of spawn, and as a result, it turns really, really nasty really, really quickly. And especially if you are starting to change heroes up. So, for example, seeing Graceful swap off that Doomfist going to the Brigitte, that's going to slow down a lot of the damage as well. Sure, it's a very defensive play. Sure, it can try and slow down some of the bleed, maybe contain the Sombra or the Tracer, but it's still not really going to be enough to be able to get you to claw your way back there. So kind of an all-in strat to try and hold on to first, but with 3 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock, they can't be too upset about that one. Like, there was a very, very strong first point hold, and I really don't want to take anything away from that.
For sure, and Angry Titans know exactly how to play stuff. This isn't like a strategy that they just don't play. And maybe that was a bit naive on Young and Beautiful's side to pick them up, that they felt that Angry Titans were just going to run Goats Comp. Does seem that they can run different strategies, I suppose, like Urki now on the Doomfist, just running a very typical dive comp. but with Brigitte in instead, I suppose, on this defense to try and help Luddy out on the Ana a little bit more. Be interested to see how these strategies go.
Erky, a spot of trouble, has to just back away, sort of mismanaged his jumps there, and as a result has to spend a long way getting around. This is going to let Young and Beautiful start to make their way inwards. Graceful slowly also building towards that Dragon Blade, has 40% of it already, so he's just been looking for poke non-stop, managing to actually get quite a lot of work done. He's chased out by the Doomfists, but they actually get a crucial first kill, and now Young and Beautiful is just going to be leaping into action here, putting a lot of pressure on the Doomfist. He's taken a huge amount of damage from Graceful here. This guy's been playing out of his mind so far. They do manage to get the heals on him, at least. Crucial heal grenade coming out from Luddy there will just keep his Doomfist alive just by a little bit more time, but Young and Beautiful have managed to rotate around. They've got themselves to the point, and they're slowly building up towards this Dragon Blade.
Angry Titans looking to sort of prime an engagement, but they're taking so long to do it. They're having to touch a point at the last second before it goes up to 2/3. But they're still getting picks. They're just waiting for this. And Graceful now brings out the Dragon Blade. He's able to follow up on it.
Yeah, he was just hungry. He was looking for Erky there, hunting him down as hard as he could, manages to get rid of the Ana as well. And now Young and Beautiful with a very fast first point take. Just did a lot of prep work there, very patient, didn't sort of overcommit on any engages, managed to get a couple of quick picks, and then as a result, they're in a really good position here, moving into second.
But then again, Angry Titans do have a couple of ultimates on their own. They kept EMP and Mana Boost, so both teams mirroring those ultimates. We'll see which ones decide to use what in what situations. But right now, you got to say that, like, Young Beautiful will be feeling good about themselves and bring out the EMP.
Yeah, that was a beauty of an EMP. Manages to catch the Nano Boosted Doomfist, and they even get him with a Sleep Dart as well. Oh no, the Sound Barrier gets cancelled. He manages to connect with the punch just as Lucio jumps into the air, gets stunned out of it, so the Sound Barrier doesn't end up manifesting. This was Angry Titan's chance to just come back into this, but it's not manifesting. Young and Beautiful still managing to survive, managed to get first, third done already. There's the counter EMP, but it's not really going to catch too many things. And beautiful peel coming out of Gustav as well so far, managing to sort of keep things under control. Doomfist gets slapped on the back line, does get taken down, and Young and Beautiful continuing with this push. IPN trying to get on the point, does get boot back, is held back for as long as possible, and there we go. Young and Beautiful with a very fast time on Horizon here.
Lightning quick, and it's worth adding, like, there was a real subtle change that came from Young and Beautiful, with Graceful switching over from Genji, using the ultimate obviously on point A, going over to Brigitte, and it was really helpful to CC certain targets, stun them out, and also just provide a little bit more sustain for the team when Angry Titans were bringing out so many more ultimates. So really well played from them on the attack, biding their time. Angry Titans just looked a bit uncomfortable on the first point. Once we started to see YAB, now they have 3 minutes to push at this point, which is still a good amount of time. They need to see if they can get further than point A, otherwise I think they're going to leave this wide open for Young and Beautiful to even the scores.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting to see sort of Dragon Blade to being the first ultimate. That's very, very unusual. You generally see sort of either, people generally play around armors, for example. You try and build up a nano boost nice and early for your first engagement. Maybe you're going to try and build up a coalescence, for example, if you have Moira. Very rare is it that the Genji gets that much value, but Graceful has been playing so well, managed to get a lot of sort of good right clicks, get a lot of headshots with those onto his rivals, onto his sort of counterparts in the opposite team. Managed to build up that Dragon Blade so quickly and then just used it to eliminate the Doomfist, managed to blow things wide open and sort of just crawled straight under the point from there. Very nicely done.
And considering the Angry Titans weren't really running a Zenyatta or a Lucio, they didn't have a support ultimate, which I guess was why the timing seemed a bit unorthodox, because Graceful didn't have to wait for anything. He could just use the ultimate with very little to stop him. But now aggressive pull coming out Young and Beautiful, so you want to make sure that Angry Titans can't do what was done to them on defense by taking this high ground and just rotating around.
Yep, Angry Titans does come out now with the McCree. They are playing sort of the protect the McCree comp, and it is working out for them. Getting rid of Ding there is pretty huge. That's a lot of healing now gone for the team, and those heal grenades so big. But McCree just stands still, and Graceful, well, he just punches him right in the side of the head. Will get rid of that threat, and now things are starting to spiral out of control. You don't have that sort of controlled, corralling presence of the McCree. It looks like they still want to try and make a little bit of a go of this, however, but it's not going very well for them as the D.Va does manage to hunt down Little Fish. They do trade out a little bit at least, so maybe this could go either way, but slowly but surely Angry Titans seem to be crumbling.
They have 2 minutes left, a third of their time allocated gone, and they're still in this position, but it's very difficult for them to get onto the point. They're going to try and do it now, but it still feels that they're behind. EMP comes through though, there might be enough to clear Angry Titans off the point yet again.
Yeah, EMP came through, no problem for landing a grenade as well. Only God manages to get one. Beautiful use of the defense matrix just to keep him alive so he can land that. Gets rid of Danny, which is a huge kill. And now Angry Titans in prime position, despite having a rough start to that fight, just managed to survive long enough and spring back straight onto the point. Use that Deadeye, cleared everybody away, and got some kills for it.
Young and Beautiful aren't going to be caught up the same way that they were on their first defense. They don't want to dedicate too many resources to try and taking it back. So they're just going to give it up, prepare for the next engagement. They do have a couple of ultimates to use. But then again, so do Angry Titans. Not as many, mind, but on this attack, just being able to run onto the point, get some picks and start off this engagement might be enough to turn it around just as quick as they did last time.
Now, Angry Titans have managed to get themselves through into this sort of small room on the sidelines. A little bit of a closer position to engage. But I'm going to use that rally just for the initial engage. Picked up their target straight away. Graceful and Ding. And now into a lot of kills. Only got on the high ground as well. It does set up a nice win condition for the... But they can try and set up a Deadeye play to get something done here. But still not making any progress on the point. Transcendence now being used as spring back.
You do see the Diva Bomb coming onto the point to try and clear some space, but it's not enough. Control the area around it, and Angry Titans are struggling to get the picks, but now they're starting to break them apart. We're getting dinged. Primal Rage does come out to get the pick onto Soonest. So now Angry Titans might be able to start making progression on the point, but the tank's job of being able to...
Now, yeah, Angry Titans hunting down Danny at the moment. He's in a lot of... and starting to take a little bit of control here on the point. Now Graceful comes out and the pack does. People aren't quite enough to survive, and Luddy still manages to hide Dot and will manage to sound barrier everybody. Looking good so far for these guys. They just need to focus down one or two more targets. They do have the Hammond rejoining them though, and with Arna's healing, Ding is just putting out so much at the moment. He's being uncontested as well. They try and go for the stall, but no, everyone backs off the point. No one can, and it looks like Angry Titans will complete.
With 20 seconds left on the point, it does give them one more opportunity to push on ahead, but not by much. Young and Beautiful, if they can take the point again just as quick as they did last time, because they want to have a pretty big time bank, but most importantly, they need to finish off Horizon yet again. And now Angry Titans are going to be better prepped with what to expect in a lot of cases like that. So Young and Beautiful need to be really careful with what they try and do. Do they want to go with tried and tested, what worked last time? Or do they want to go for something a little bit different that Angry Titans just won't be?
I mean, it almost worked for them last time so well. So, you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it is my general logic of like, hey, you had this strategy. It looked really good last time. Maybe you can get it done once again. It looks like they are going to be rolling out with a duo support of Vegeta and Ana, with the combined DPS, of course, of the Doomfist and Sombra. So trying it once again, and it looks like on the offense, nothing really changing up too much as well. We've got the Genji Sombra combo. The question is, can they keep Graceful under control this time? If they can, maybe things will go slightly better for them on defense.
Careful of the fact that they don't have a support ultimate on this defense. They don't have that Transcendence, which could shut down quite a lot of what a Genji would want to do. But then again, you have the Sombra with the EMP too. So there's a lot of team wiping ultimates on the side of Young and Beautiful that if Angry Titans aren't careful, will completely flop them because they don't have any mitigating ultimates to stop it coming.
Graceful goes in for an early engage, does get hacked actually, so he's going to have to just play it safe, but his team is there so far. Looking okay at the moment actually, they are still playing in this corner very similar to last time. They're not actually engaging, they're not trying to rotate through the map just yet, they are just playing the poke. They're just slowly whittling down the enemy, building up this Dragon Blade and trying to achieve it. Bit of a threat on the point.
We're now starting. So Urki's going to dive onto that, pushing him back and punishing him as much as possible, but doesn't manage to get out. So now Danny's on the high ground with the rest of Grace. They don't have ultimates yet, but Graceful is 70% of having another Dragon. Can he get the same success as he did last time? Remains to be seen, but we do see a Nano Boost coming out onto...
Yeah, Nano goes onto him, but everybody just... They just collapse on him the moment the Nano Boost does wear out. They did at least get one for it, but I'm sure they wanted... Now, well, Young and Beautiful's ultimates are starting to come... Now, EMP comes out at the same time. No. Oh my god, what a hero. They do manage to disable him a little bit there. Does get the finishing blow as well with an anti-heal grenade. What a huge bloody to keep his team alive there. I thought for sure that was a game-winning play. Nano and EMP
And not only
is
that,
what?
just 3 ultimates used in one engagement to shut down from one ability that Luddy will have ready for this next fight. Not only that, Only God has an EMP, and there's so many more ultimates on the side of Angry Titans now because of it. So that engagement in that fight really did swing it in Angry Titans' favor, who will be feeling pretty good about themselves, but they need to hold the for another just less than 4 minutes, which is the allocated time normally. So they still have quite a lot to do.
Only God waiting for his moment, has EMP available to him. He's gonna wait for the rotation. Beautiful anti-heal grenade. That's gonna trigger the engage. Goes in. Let's see if they can turn it into some kills. Gustav does manage to get the sound barrier out that does keep his team alive. Is slept on his team rallied around him, so should still be okay. Young and Beautiful managing to get through sort of those first dangerous stages. We do see the primary raising Winston going in actually. Also trying to continue maintaining that pressure on the front line. Doomfist ult goes at the end, does get onto Graceful, does eliminate, but surely it looks like Angry Titans going to continue the hold.
Luddy got another sleep on. Most of them were able to clear it out. Now Angry Titans far more in control of this area, using the space really Transcendence or a sound barrier to keep themselves in the fight. In with the EMP and missing out Gustav that sound barrier in response, but they're still able to clear up. Now we're seeing more offensive ultimates on the side of Young and Beautiful. They need to get a good banana boost in, but with Graceful being on Brigitte, he's not going to have quite the same success. It's going to be a lot more slow burning when it comes to taking this point, but they are going to start getting forward by getting...
Tonic goes right into the back line. He's getting bounced up all rudely away. Now trying to just turn that into a kill, but so much CC comes out that the nano boost just does not manifest into any real kills. Tonic manages to get onto Luddy there with the kill, but not before actually starting on the Doomfist. Again, this presence of the Doomfist just not being eliminated has been so problematic. Ding actually enters into a solo fight, comes out on top of that one at the very least, and it looks like Young and Beautiful might just be muffling their way onto the point here with the support of Ding. This guy has been playing phenomenally well so far, and his Ana is really causing the difference.
The only issue is that it took 3 minutes for Young and Beautiful to take this point, and now Angry Titans do have a lot of defensive ultimates, the EMP and a Meteor Strike potentially to sort of stem the flow of momentum that might come out of Young and Beautiful here. They don't really have any offensive ultimates themselves, so they're going to rally, get themselves prepared for Nick, try and chip their way towards an EMP and any follow-up them.
It does manage to come through, and can they turn it into as Young and Beautiful just will back away that little bit longer. There we go. So they will just continue to slow this one down. Young and Beautiful okay just to wait this one out, and they're going to set up for the next engage.
They're going to set up quite quickly as well. So Young and Beautiful again, they don't have a EMP just yet, but they do have a nano boost that they might throw into. He tries to dive into the back one, but he needs this Luddy's speed so. But isn't going to quite work towards it yet. So Will die in his engagement. Now Tonic's going to push in. Low shift to try and stall.
Yeah, Tonic only getting one. At the very least, that said, he's going to be coming back very soon, and this win isn't coming fast enough, I think, before the reinforcements start spawning. Deeper one comes up, comes down, doesn't really find too much of anything with that one. Does start getting on the Zarya though, on that back line. Most of the way back, but he's trying to land on the point using that ultimate. He's chipping out at the moment. Looks like he actually wants to go and hunt him down. Tries to get the kill, does manage to do so. And slowly but surely things aren't quite going their way. Young and Beautiful making their way back onto the point, committing just fully to this fight, and it looks like they're just about doing it. IPN's the only one left, gets taken down, and it's looking real good here.
A 4-second, 3-second difference between them. Nice setup, but eventually we do see Young and Beautiful being able to take the point. That's where Brigitte's going to be really good over Genji, but it's not as quick as maybe Young and Beautiful hoped for. So now both teams have a solid opportunity, only 3 seconds between them. It will be Angry Titans that will be attacking first, so they need to try and get some results fairly quickly. So I am interested to see what kind of company they're going to run. And
we will just be resetting Discord for a moment, so there have been audio issues, so we'll try and get that fixed as quickly as possible. So one moment, hopefully we should be back before anyone has started a fight.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I might need this later.
Okay, hopefully this sounds a little bit better. I seriously hope so.
5, 4,
Fingers crossed.
Everything's outputting fine on my end, unfortunately, so I'm not entirely sure where the bottleneck is occurring, but teams are starting to roll out. Once again, we are seeing Angry Titans go with the McCree comp. They want to have that extra safety, they want to have the extra stuns to try and get something done here. Only God gets a couple of good shots off early. Beautiful anti-heal grenade, though. Going to force Angry Titans just to take their time.
There's a really good grenade from across the area of Horizon, but now we know Young and Beautiful know where Angry Titans is going. A couple of Discord ops been thrown out onto main targets of the tanks. Graceful on the Doomfist is priming himself, just waiting, I suppose, for Angry Titans to have to push onto the point, because he knows that it's only going to take one engagement and one fight at this point. But Tonic gets caught out, so that's a big loss on Young and Beautiful's side, so Graceful needs to sort of pull a rabbit out of the hat here.
Good staff in a good position here, actually building up quite nicely towards his ultimate on 80% already, so should have that very soon, and we could see another one of these Young and Beautiful miracle holes at the moment as Angry Titans have made their way onto the point. Graceful wants to continue causing problems where he can, though has managed to get into the back line, gets rid of IPN, almost gets onto Luddy as well, as forced to bounce out as Gustav goes down before he can get that Transcendence. Only God now brings out the Deadeye, finds himself with 2, and this could just be what Angry Titans needed just to get this overtime push going the way that they want.
It put the High Noon put Young and Beautiful in a rock and a hard place, basically because they either touch the point and die or they give up the point altogether. So they needed to just run in there, get killed by it to reset for this next engagement, because this could spell disaster if they also lose point B2. 13 seconds on the clock now. We do see a lot of ultimates on Young and Beautiful's side, so they need to be careful with how they use it.
EMP comes out. Nano Boost actually goes on the Sombra, but she just blinks away out. I think that was meant to go on Graceful. He just gets exploded, unfortunately, as a result. Gustav still has that Transcendence available to him. He's going to use it to try and stall things out right now. Another huge heal grenade comes out from Ding, but there's just not enough left alive, perhaps, to convert this into a few kills. Overtime, Wick is burning down, though. It's almost finished. Beautiful stalls coming out from Tonic. Their kills coming out finally, and there we go. Young and Beautiful will manage to pull off the defensive hold here.
But they only have 1 minute and 3 seconds to try and push first point and also grab a third, so it still leaves a lot to be decided for them. They might be a little bit annoyed that they gave up the point at all, but really well played out of Angry Titans, and especially Only God to be able to pull out the High Noon at the right time. Really solid idea, and it seemed to be executed really well, but now they need to defend. They looked much more solid on their second defense, so maybe after each time they have to defend point A, they're going to look better and better. So they must be feeling pretty good about themselves, set themselves up quite nicely for this next fight.
All right, here we go. 1 minute left on the clock. They've got to manage to take 1/3 of the first point. And no, they actually have to take the full first point and then 1/3 of second. So actually quite a task ahead of them. Also, chat, do let us know if there are microphone issues or any other issues you have. There is a bit of a delay, but we'll try and get those fixed as soon as possible. I can't have you not hearing my beautiful voice, and I can't have my beautiful voice not sounding crisp and clear as it should be, because I spent a lot of money on this microphone. Okay, guys. On the defense, however, we are seeing once again the Doomfist coming out. The Doomfist Sombra has been so influential so far, so impactful on this map. And again, on that offense, Graceful bringing out the Genji. He's been so difficult to sort of keep control of. But Ding as well. My MVP so far for this map, his heal grenades have been perfect. We're hoping to see more out of these guys.
I don't know, like Luddy has also been really good on the Ana, being able to get in some pretty pivotal sweeps and throw out some pretty nifty grenades himself. For a main support player, it's very solid. So now, only 1 minute left, Graceful going to dash in to try and get a bit of ult charge, but might be sort of seized upon. Doesn't quite go down, but takes a lot of damage to themselves. So they need to be careful. For Young and Beautiful dedicated quite a lot very early on in this engagement. They can't really have anybody falling down just yet.
And this is really going Angry Titans' way at the moment. They're managing to build up a very, very quick nano boost, and that's going to be huge if they can get that earlier than their opponents. Luddy already on 60%. They're just baiting it in with the Winston, letting that Winston soak in a lot of damage. And meanwhile, there's nothing really quite matching that on the opposing side of Young and Beautiful. So things still going Angry Titans' way at the moment.
Perfectly well, yeah. 90% on having that nano boost, which would be huge in this fight. You can sort of tell that Loshush and the rest are ready to engage, but Graceful getting the pick up to Only God means that they won't have anything like a hack or nowhere near an EMP for this next fight. So now the point is going to start ticking up for Young and Beautiful. Let's see if Angry Titans can stop it.
They have the advantage now. Nano Boost goes onto Urki, just deletes Gustav straight away. Does get slapped, but woken up the moment that he just falls to the ground here. Looks for the punch, finds Danny, manages to take him down, and Urki keeping his team alive in this one. Danny in so much trouble here, gets taken out. EMP comes in at the last possible minute, but it's really just 1 or 2 people left, and I don't think that's going to be enough here to stop the Angry Titans continuing on this hold. Nano Winston at the last possible moment, but he's hacked, he can't Primal Rage, he can't do anything. He's pinned into the corner, taken down, the overtime whip burns down, and there we have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Angry Titans managing to hold on Horizon Lunar Colony.
They go 2-0 up and ready for the next map type, which is going to be pure escort. You would assume that Young and Beautiful might be able to pull that back, especially with how their first round went, both for their attack and defense, but the fact that it took them so long to take the first point on their second attack meant that that time allocated to them just dwindled away carelessly. And I think the big play that we pointed out was that sleep from Luddy being able to take out a nano boosted with an EMP Genji Dragonblade was the thing that completely turned the momentum of that fight.
Okay, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. So it is now, Angry Titans 2-0 up in the series so far. It's been looking increasingly good for these guys. Young and Beautiful increasingly in desperate measures at the moment. It will be their map choice next, as we will go towards a pure payload map relatively soon. That will either be Dorado or Route 66. Seen a lot of Dorado so far today, not so much on the Route 66. I'm not sure if we'll go to a break. We might go to a break, as that's been sort of standard so far, but we had quite a lengthy break earlier on today with the server issues the Blizzard have had. So thank you so much for sticking with us through those so far.
Definitely, I think it's worth sort of good for a break even, but we will be going straight onto our next map, which I believe hasn't been decided by Young and Beautiful just yet. We want to try and keep on schedule as much as possible with some of these games, try and get through them as much as possible, and to try and really sort of get to grips with how Young and Beautiful can maybe come back from this. It's been a long game for both teams. Even having an hour break because of the DC issues can be quite exhausting for players to deal with, so not quite playing at their prime as much. And this is a long day with a lot of games still yet to play.
Yeah, it's been something of a tricky one. Those, like, it's worth mentioning, it's worth bringing up, like, when a disconnect like that happens, or when there's server issues, when there's delays, the being in the position of sort of not knowing what's going to be happening, do I still need to be at my computer, do I still need to be warmed up, can really affect players' mindsets as well. So that little disruption could cause some issues here, but it looks like Angry Titan still managing to stick this one out. Young and Beautiful still looking a little bit on the ropes. It's not too surprising, like, if you look at this from the greater perspective. Angry Titan's second place finish last contenders season looked really good throughout, unchanged team. Meanwhile, Young and Beautiful, slightly new roster, a lot of changes coming into this roster, a lot of newer players, and they're still going relatively blow for blow, right? That Lunar Colony game was actually pretty close. It was actually, there were good shining moments in there for Young and Beautiful. And I've got to say, like, the coordination between Graceful and between just the supports and with Ding especially has just been phenomenal to behold. Like, those two are working super well with each other, and as a result, they are forming like a very scary DPS combo. Oh, you're muted, right?
My
Oh,
bad.
your lovely
Graceful
voice.
is certainly a player that I didn't know an awful lot about before this tournament, so very excited to see how he's able to play, but interested to see what he's going to do actually on Dorado, which is our next map. So not really a place where you play an awful lot of Doomfist, maybe Genji potentially, but as you sort of highlighted in previous games, this is where the Widowmaker likes to come out. So I'm really interested to see if Only God decides to pick up a sniper like that, or whether it be Tonic, Zuna, who plays what when this map type becomes very different to what we've seen so far.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of options. I mean, Europe tends to shy away from the Farah. Farah definitely feels more like, he always has kind of felt more like an American hero, right? The Americans seem to love going for that Farah and playing her a lot. not really popping up so much here on sort of the European servers too much, and definitely not in the European tier 2 scene. We've been seeing a lot more of sort of reliance on the Widowmakers, a lot more reliance on the Sombras, a lot more of sort of that style of play. So it wouldn't surprise me to see too much more of that. Wouldn't surprise me as well to see the Genji coming out. Graceful's kind of teasing it at the moment, and I reckon they could probably still play this. I think he was phenomenal on the Doomfist, but you need the vertical climbing that Graceful can actually bring you here on the Genji. So think they actually will stick with this lineup, and it's looking like a fairly solid one. So this classic cycle comp.
Very typical. We're seeing Angry Titans on the defense coming out with their lineup. Again, or potentially not. They're going to be running this Brigitte Ana composition on defense again, but instead Luddy is going to be on the Brigitte with IPN now on the Ana. So switching stuff around, but again, does not really have the res if they're playing anything like a Widowmaker or into one, but also doesn't have a Sound Barrier or Transcendence. So it's a very aggressive composition that I guess is meant to make sure that the Ana has as much protection as possible, as Brigitte is so good at peeling for her team there.
Okay, a lot of people starting out on that rooftop, as is relatively standard. Doomfist even hiding out up there. Raki looking for maybe a quick sort of ambush on a Winston or similar, but will have to just sort of jump his way out. The crucial thing here is to keep an eye on IPN's ultimate charge. He's mostly going to be trying to use Elivote and Lulsish there to build him up as fast as possible. Looks like a bit of an engage coming in onto the low ground. Doesn't really turn into too much of anything as everyone's sort of bounced out, but only God actually manages to find sooner, and that's going to put people ahead on that EMP race.
We're seeing IPN just sort of trucking away, being able to provide a lot of healing. The Brigitte is there just as a bodyguard to make sure that he doesn't get dove on too much, but Erki's doing a really good job on the Doomfist actually, being able to hop from the high ground to the low ground to the high ground, just up and down, being able to get those picks. So a good amount of Angry Titans now are high on ultimate charge. The Nano Boost is ready and prepped on this defense, but it's almost ready to go on the offense, as well as Ding has been getting a good amount of healing in too. So Graceful is still trucking up towards the Dragon Blade. That's the obvious synergy, but Tonic is also a great person to put that Nano Boost on.
Yeah, I'd love to see it go on to Tonic. Speaking of Nano Winston's, Lulsish gets his as he jumps into the backline. Doesn't turn into too much of anything, however. A beautiful sleep dart as well, almost manages to catch him. There goes the Nano Boost onto Tonic as he's just going right into the backline. He's looking for IPN. Great sleep dart, but Graceful's just there. You can't sleep both targets, unfortunately. That will be a touch overpowered as now Graceful has just been unleashed. The distraction Winston buying enough time for Graceful just to get in there. Doesn't need the Dragon Blade as he cleaves through the enemy team.
It's a nice synergy there. It completely split Angry Titans, as well as some were still on the point trying to engage on it. Whereas we did see the dive targets doing what they do best and dive in on the backline. The Brigitte is going to be out to stall, but will it be enough? Only just. But Ludley's going to be out on his own and taken down fairly quickly.
Yeah, he's just going to get deleted right away. Lulsish does manage to get in there, though. Does get onto Dim, who's been so important so far. Meteor Strike comes up, comes back down. Doesn't find anything so far, and now the Dragon Blade is out. Graceful's looking for targets, but he's so low on hit points. Have to be so careful. He's just running for his life at the moment, as it looks like Angry Titans will start reclaiming at this point. Everyone's so low, though, that Graceful just comes back in. Doesn't matter that he has no hit points. What matters is that everybody else has no hit points, and he can start getting those finishing blows. Rally comes out, though, from Ludi. That's going to keep his team alive. That's going to make it very hard for Genji to convert into these kills, and now Angry Titans reinforcing on the point.
It was maybe a bit of a scarce EMP, but it really did scare off Young and Beautiful. And also Graceful hacked and taken out instantly by Erki, who still is being trucking away, being able to get so much damage done. Young and Beautiful have a lot of offensive ultimates ready. They have an EMP, they have Tonic with a Primal Rage if he needs to use it. But that's all they really have. The EMP really did just stop what Young and Beautiful wanted to do. So really well played out of Boney God to use it at the right time. Also really good stalling coming out like the likes of Luddy and Lulsish.
EMP does come out, manages to catch quite a lot of people. Lurky in a lot of trouble there, does get focused down and killed off. Sound Barrier now being used just to push this engagement even further. IPN, the target of the day, still staying alive though. Defense Matrix just keeping him up and running that little bit longer. He's still trying to get out by the skin of his teeth. He's still alive somehow, but meanwhile, Tonic sooner managing to find kills of their own. IPN does drop down, Lucius drops down, and it looks like there's nobody left to contest the point. Young and Beautiful finish out on first.
You get through and they use a good amount of ultimates as well, so now we're going to start to see Young and Beautiful pushing ahead a little bit. We have no ultimates on the side of Angry Titans, so they're going to take their time, try and get some poking damage ready. Only God going into the back line and try it and muster up an EMP ready for this next fight. So it's going to be going away from his team, actually sitting with them to an extent. Maybe trying to jump onto Danny, who is slept on the high ground. The hack does come in. We're going to burn him down as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they're trying to do what they can. Nano Boost does come through onto the Winston as well, so Tonic has that available to him. Beautiful anti-heal grenade as well from Dane. He's been doing so much again, but oh my god, the bomb just slides off, catches absolutely everybody. Elivote with a massive clutch bomb there will just stall up any momentum this push was accruing and will continue the hold.
Solid, and considering Angry Titans have a good amount of ultimates now themselves, if Graceful does have a new Dragon Blade, the Nano Boost was used previously and didn't really amount to much. Danny also has a self-destruct ready to go, but is it going to match what Elivote just managed to do? Clearing up the rest of Young and Beautiful as this payload starts to truck ahead. Just over 2 minutes on the clock, so a good amount of time for Young and Beautiful to do something with it.
Graceful looking for his opportunity, gets onto IPN, does get stunned out though. The Brigitte and Doomfist doing such a good job healing, as Onigod does go in for the EMP. Doesn't really turn into too much, but they do get rid of Downey at the very least. Graceful has been pushed out as well. Meteor Strike comes in. Urki perhaps just looking for something. No, he's just resetting to the high ground, resetting to the safety of his supports. Gets healed back up. He's ready to go once again as his team starts to engage. Goes straight down, goes for the Ana, deletes her straight away. Looks for the Sombra, doesn't quite find it. EMP comes out. Desperate times, called for desperate measures. Graceful pulls out the Dragon Blade. He's onto Elivote, manages to slash him out of the map. Can he find more though, is the question. No, he's being chased out by the Brigitte. Luddy so formidable on this hero at the moment, but the rest of Young and Beautiful still managing to keep the fight going. Graceful goes down, but can they find anything more? No, it doesn't look like it's Luddy. Slowly going down, still alive somehow. Brigitte so hard to remove, and steadily it looks like finally Young and Beautiful starting to win this fight out.
Angry Titans having to dedicate a lot to just keep this going, and it's only in small pieces too. Because Angry Titans doing such a good job of taking these small engagements, dedicating maybe a couple of ultimates to just stall out Young and Beautiful and then pushing onto the point. But now there's only 60 seconds on the clock and Angry Titans do have a good amount of ultimates ready. So they're going to get prepared, try and use the Nano Boost, maybe put it up to low shish, try and stall this point out once more.
Looks like it's going to be going on to the Doofus. He goes straight into the back line. Doesn't find anything on the back of that one though. And again, just gets pushed out. All the CC, the Brigitte, the sound barrier, the boots, just closing him out. He can't find the targets just yet. Diva Bomb comes through and manages to trade Diva for Diva. It's going to be a tough fight so far. Nanoboost did actually come out as well from the offense. Did get slept though. Not translating into anything just yet. EMP comes through. Will try and stall out this as much as they can. Angry Titans still struggling though to continue controlling this point. They brought out the Desperation Hammer and it looks like it's paying off for them. But the Esbreeze join the fight nice and quickly and they will continue the hold. It's just the last breath. 10 seconds left. Can anybody touch is the question sooner. On his way, Graceful trying to get there and it doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to quite make it that far. Nobody's near. Ding might just be able to touch. Does manage to touch. No, sorry, the Diva was there actually managing to get in. EMP comes out. Can they convert this into anything though?
Doesn't look like it. Only God's EMP was able to clear up the point when he got it before. As soon as he got it, he used it, and now Only God is able to sort of sit on the point, hack any targets, but it doesn't manage to hack Tonic's Primal Rage, who will still out the point a little bit more, but we do see Wrecking Ball's ultimate in the minefield placed on the objective, which makes it so much more difficult for Young and Beautiful to get in and contest without dying themselves. So bit by bit, we are going to start to see Young and Beautiful stop out here just before the second checkpoint.
And so there we have it. Angry Titans managing to hold before the end of second. The golden parking space of joy is clear. They know exactly what they need to achieve. And now the question is, can they do it? Considering the first point defense we saw at a Young and Beautiful last time on Horizon, this could actually be quite close. They were very, very solid at sort of holding Horizon's chokes, very solid at re-engaging. And first point Dorado can be a bit of a tough nut to crack at times. So this could still be Young and Beautiful's opportunity.
They have set themselves up quite nicely. The first point is just an area that you see a lot of teams being even full held completely, so it's not uncommon, I suppose, yeah, but it's still looking like Angry Titan are very much in control of this fight now that they look a little bit more seasoned and exposed to different strategies and comps. We're seeing nice bits of flair coming out of Young and Beautiful, but ultimately I don't know if it's enough because now we're starting to see Onigod and Urki bringing out those same flair heroes of like Sombra and Doomfist to do a good amount with them too. So it's all about that communication, and I think the supports as well of Lodi and IPN have been playing out Ding Gustav only a little bit though.
I mean, I will say that when I saw that we were going to be casting Angry Titans, I was quite excited to see Onigod sort of, perhaps get to play some of these DPS heroes, and it does make me very happy to see that he has had a chance to play some Tracer, he's had a chance to play a couple of things that aren't just, like Brigitte, he hasn't just been playing sort of locked into 3-3 comps or locked into goats. They have been playing these DPS options here, and especially with the map pool that we have in this sort of in this tournament, it is actually very, very difficult to just play goats on every single map. And so the gates have opened, and well, we're back to our usual pokey on the high ground as teams slowly build up towards what ultimates they can get, and maybe trying to just dislodge and hack 1 or 2 people.
Elivert and the rest are trying to set up. Danny gets hacked, so the dive is starting to go in on them, try and take them out of the mech, but it isn't enough as they just peel back to the rest of Angry Titans. They set themselves nicely into this sort of next area of engagement. Good hack onto Danny, but wasn't quite enough to stop them out in this engagement. But those opportunistic approaches that we're seeing out of Angry Titans, I feel are one of the deciding factors. They know how to play this.
Dive goes right onto the back line. Urki comes round from behind, from the flank. Winston dives in at the same time. They eliminate Ding straight away. That's going to put them behind a little bit on the ultimate charge, but it doesn't matter if Suna's in your back line, killing absolutely everybody with that Doomfist. And as a result, these guys actually are in a pretty good place. Now goes even further, goes onto Diana, gets slapped though, and the rest of the team is there to help him. The Bunny Blaster from D.Va actually putting the threat that was Suna away for a few more moments. Angry Titans now starting to get a little bit more momentum. Urki almost has that Dragon Blade available to him. If he can get that one out, it could be huge for them in this fight. He's looking, trying to figure out what targets he can find, but he gets hacked as a result. He's just in a lot of danger. There's the supports coming through. Tarnik has Nano Boost on him, will try and hunt some people down, but it's just very, very good out of IPN to keep him alive during all of this.
Elivert is now able to sort of finish off the pick, but we do see Graceful bringing out the Dragon Blade now. Oh, sorry, Urki, actually. I'm so used to Graceful being able to play it. But the EMP comes out in response, but it isn't enough. Urki can still get those picks. So Angry Titans looking to still be in control of this as the payload's going to truck on ahead and no doubt hit this first checkpoint.
Urki managing to get through, gets both supports with a single swipe pretty much there, and does manage to confirm this first point is done for Angry Titans. Now what's going to be interesting to see, do they change anything up? Do we see Widowmakers coming out? We do. Suna swapping on to the Widow. Will be in a little bit of danger from being dove here. The sort of the Genji, Winston, and Sombra all on the map will be looking for her. So Suna going to have to sort of, put on the carry chops here. Has to click some heads.
Loshish is actually sat in the chapel just sort of trying to find where the rest of Young and Beautiful are going to be. Doesn't quite have his ultimate yet, but is just sort of prepping himself to maybe dive on a target that isn't expected it. Can actually try and get up there, and now that Suna's in the game on the Widowmaker, it gives him another opportunity to dive on him, as he pointed out. So they need to be very careful. Loshish is just trying to take as many good opportunities as he can to sort of go in. Sambar is there to keep Angry Titans alive.
D.Va Bomb comes through. Only God's gone like all the way around. He's looking for the perfect hack opportunities. Does manage to get onto Ding, but while he's been busy doing that, on the front line, Tonic is just sort of man-moded in, jumped forward and managed to start smashing people around. Graceful helping confirm that kill. Hack does come out. EMP launching out of Graceful. It doesn't really turn into too many kills here at the moment. Only God's still looking for his opportunity here. Suna trying to find some picks as well. The longer this goes, the longer Suna has to actually try and convert into some kills here. IPN in a spot of trouble at the moment. There goes the Infrasight. There goes the Nano Gorilla, and does instantly get rid of IPN. Ding now have been removed. We do have the Nano Blade coming out of Urki though. Let's see what he can find with this one. Manages to get rid of one, manages to get rid of the D.Va completely. Gets a good slash onto the Lucio, who skates away with his life, but they've got to finish this one. Cool kill out of Suna there. Managing to get the shot onto Urki at least for the parting finish, but with Lucius contesting the spawn, this payload's rolling.
Loshish is holding the doors, trying to get onto the support as Ding goes low, but has to use the grenade to keep themselves alive. Doing enough to completely take this fight away from the payload that's only 4 meters away. Only God's on the way back with an EMP ready to try and clear up stuff that's on there, such as a wrecking ball. Danny bringing it in. EMP comes in, but doesn't quite get the targets he was hoping for.
Yeah, EMP comes through. Soundbarrier as well for the engage. It looks like Young and Beautiful might start just muffling the way forward. Another crucial anti-heal out of Ding will get rid of Luddy and pretty much Elivo as well, as he does manage to hit that one. But with 2 minutes 30 left on the clock, you've got to imagine Angry Titan's not feeling too bad about losing this fight. Suna even joining us here on the Tracer. Sooner rather than later, as he smashes down everybody.
Loshish going back to spawn. No doubt to change over to the Winston. Maybe thought that they could sneak in right at the end, but having the wrecking ball any further might not be the best opportunity. Luddy does have the Lucio, and the competition does change up a little bit. Urki now on the Brigitte to stall out the objective to just try and create a bit more sustain. And now we have IPN on the Zenyatta to burn through the tank. Much more traditional compositions coming out now, but it still leaves a lot. Suna spots the opportunity, goes to Widowmaker.
once that Brigitte appears, you've really got to consider just ditching the Tracer as fast as possible. EMP does come out straight away. Nano Boost joining them as well as they just engage super hard. They didn't manage to get the sound barrier, but I don't think it'll matter too much as Tonic is just wrecking people with all that cleave damage to Con. Naturally necessitates that everybody has to be so clumped up so that Winston gets a huge amount of value. Angry Titans know that this one is a bit of a bust, but they do know as well that that was a Nano Boost and an EMP used in one fight.
It was a big engagement that didn't really get as much as Young and Beautiful may have wanted. There's only less than 90 slowly for Angry Titans, but nothing quite ready just yet other than self-destruct, which isn't used as a great aggressive nature as you may think, I suppose. So now Tonic is a lot reliant on him to bring out a decent primal rage to keep his team in this fight, but this is a very long engagement coming out, and actually does get taken out fairly early.
Yeah, Tonic dropping early. That's going to just drop a lot of stalling power here for the team. Mercy goes in for the res, but just flies right into Only God's crosshairs, and he just nails it with the headshot there. That's going to put a bit of a dampener on the spirits of Young and Beautiful at the moment. Diva Bomb just causes a bit... Mendon's coming out to counter... done to just dodge that one. Only got in the spot of trouble here. Is getting contested a lot. Still lands shots though. Still gets rid of Suna. Despite having a big angry gorilla chasing after him, he's still managing to produce results here. And this could just be... Anna in the backline, crucially Ding manages to get that ultimate out onto Tonic once again. Does have the nano boost on him, but still does not have enough damage. Angry Titan's just so tanky, so resilient, and have managed to do it. They have completed their stay here on Dorado and are now 3-0 up in the series.
Solid play coming out of Verky on the Brigitte just to make sure that IPN on the Z didn't die when the nano boosted Winston came in to try and take him down. So excellent appeal to keep them in the engagement. Really smart play to even come up with that idea in the first place. Here's the bomb from Melody, managing to get triple kills, taking out all of the spots and also Tonic. So again, Angry Titans do confirm this into a win, and they just need to sort of clear it out with a 4-0 potential.
Yeah, I managed to have a really good viewpoint of that bomb. It just slipped off the edge, just like barely off the edge, and exploded right between where the wall is and where the sort of, you could see kind of everything from there. So don't know whether that was fully intentional. I'm going to give them the benefit that doubt. Divas do tend to practice their bombs and sort of setting them up for the perfect spot, but that just managed to catch everybody off guard and cleared everybody away. So then, we are going to play map 4 out, as this is a league-style series. So basically, we play 4 maps every single time just to see who has the highest win-loss differential before the grand finals, where one team from each group will advance to the finals. So then we will be moving to our hybrid maps, either Hollywood or Numbani. It's going to be Young and Beautiful's choice once again.
Not really worked out the way that they wanted with some of the map choices. They are going to be picking Hollywood though. Again, probably for the same strategies as Dorado, really, that you can have this nice, flexible, fluid playstyle that transcends across all the different points. So be interested to see what is run by Young and Beautiful, and also how Angry Titans is going to respond. So far, they're looking pretty much in control. They have won this map out fairly consistently, but I won't say confidently. I think there is a lot between these two teams. I think Young and Beautiful on another day, potentially, or if the servers didn't go down, might have been able to sneak a couple of map wins themselves. But right now, Angry Titans very much in control of this, well on their way to heading towards that final if they can keep confirming these wins.
And to give Young and Beautiful the benefit of the doubt, it looks like their backline, like Ding especially, has just been blowing me away consistently throughout all of this. Gustav as well, don't get me wrong, has been contributing and been doing his part, but Ding has been so essential in making sure, for example, that Graceful can do what he needs to do on the Doomfist, enabling the Genji, enabling the Doomfist where necessary, building up ultimates nice and quickly, hitting clutch grenades so reliably, and then that's giving Young and Beautiful advantages that they need to stay in this series. So really well played out of these guys so far. Sure, they're losing to Angry Titans, but being honest with you, losing to the second place finishers of the last season of Contenders isn't the worst thing in the world, and it's not been like a complete ruffle stomp, right? It's been closer than perhaps you would expect between these two teams.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially Horizon, or even just taking maps and objectives off one another. It's going to be fairly interesting. But speaking of how this goes from now on, I suppose, I want to see what Graceful is going to do on this Pharah. It's something that we haven't really seen at all yet. And also IPN locking in, playing Wrecking Ball on this defense. Don't know if that's quite the thing that they wanted to do. I heard the voice. Speaking of it, I heard the voice. Did you see the clip of the voice actor for Hammond doing the talking?
No, I didn't actually. I watched half of that panel and need to go back and watch the rest of it because I have a virtual ticket. So I will need to do that at some point, but I knew that I was going to be busy today as well, so unfortunately I didn't have time to see all of it. Looks like they have finally locked in their choices, though. Looks like it's going to be the Doomfist and Ana, just for the old cycle comp as well. Sombra joining them once again. Pharmacy coming out, though, on the offense. Ooh, I like it.
Especially Graceful, who so far has been really impressive on a lot of DPS options to see what he can do here. Suna as well on the Hansa, who we haven't seen an awful lot of. But nope, they're going to go back and change up there probably to, yep, you can easily guess what I'm going to say.
Ah, come on. I was so excited to see the Hanzo Fire, but nope, changing up straight away, going to conventional Goats. Moira Ghost has graced us with its presence, so they will be starting to push in with that one as soon as they can find the angle. Only got with a nice little lead as well, already 17% towards that ultimate charge. Looking for a hack onto the back line. Beautiful anti-heal grenade. Nagi connects with Gustav, and that's really going to put the offense in trouble here. You need that Lucio to keep you alive, to keep your team moving. It's so important. They're losing him a bit of a disaster at the moment. Let's see if they can finish this one off, though. It is Goats. It's very difficult to dislodge sort of once it starts getting moving. On it getting bounced around a bit. I like getting slow progress on the point now.
They're sort of ticking it up slowly and they're starting to get picked. You sort of see Erky a little bit, was just taken up by Gustav, but really was just sat there on the high ground trying to find who am I supposed to dive, what am I supposed to do, and eventually was just sort of caught out. So now the rally's going to come in just to top everybody up a little bit, and this Goats comp is going to start running through the Wild Wild West. Let's see what Angry Titans do in response, but it does look like they're going to be running a similar thing, but Aina, IPN still going to be on that hero, not changing.
Yeah, I mean, he's so close to the nano boost as well. It left your Reinhardt really force fights. He's going to let Lilshish build up very quickly towards the Earthshatter. Speaking of Tonic, though, very close to his own, and with the Brigade combos, as we learned from the World Cup, is so formidable to Lando. Does get slowed down a little bit. You can see he's hungry for it. He's looking for his opportunity. There goes the Nano. He's backing up Tonic. Looks for his moment. Reinhardt is Earthshatter. There goes the Graviton Surge, rather. There goes the Earthshatter to follow it up. Doesn't turn into any kills, however. Soundbarrier is going to be keeping everybody alive. And now, well, it's still a little bit of a messy fight. Lilshish does manage to find a kill onto Tonic at the very least. And looks like Angry Titan's going to use that one to put the boot in.
And there was so many ultimates used on the side of Young and Beautiful that it was, tried to stem the flow of what a nano boosted Lilshish could do to you, that they dedicate stuff like Graviton and the like, and use this Earthshatter of their own. So now they're in sort of a bit of a tricky situation. Ding now over on the Zenyatta, Raleigh gets used on his defense, and their own Graviton gets used too.
Yep, Diva Bomb sliding in behind it. Brigitte stun connects, and as a result, the bomb just goes off, blows everybody away, and no problem there for Angry Titans. It's a classic combo, and it's classic for a good reason. It tends to just win fights outright. Gustav almost has that sound barrier available to him, but with only a Diva Bomb available on this offense, it's going to be really tough, I think, for Young and Beautiful to crack it in this fight.
Especially when Lilshish has the Earthshatter. All it needs is the Brigitte to stun Tonic to take him out the fight, and you can see, but this Diva Bomb might be enough. It sort of lands awkwardly, doesn't really get to the place that Young and Beautiful wanted it to be. The payload is now in their control. It was really good for zonal denial. Now this payload starts to move. Angry Titan's backing out a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on Lilshish at the moment. Does get his barrier almost broken, but he just turns that one around, drops the hammer down. Sound barrier comes out from Gustav, though. Huge clutch play out of him to keep his team alive from all that threat. Looks like they want to keep this fight going as well, as they have managed to go 2 up so far. Elevo almost getting DMAX. Graviton Surge going to be available for Suna in a moment. Nano Boost going on to Onigod, though. He's on almost 100% charge, but gets taken down by Ding. He just finds the shots, and at the moment, Ding is just going to help cleaning up. Halo going to continue rolling forward, and they've managed to do that with a Transcendence, with a Graviton, and with an Earthshatter in hand.
I'm surprised that Onigod never used a Graviton as well. Got nano boosted probably to do as much damage as possible, but also to work his way to making sure that he got Graviton for the next fight. So whilst we do have Ding having the Transcendence, it's not quite as cut and dry. They need to be very careful that they don't get picked out of a fight early. And also, Stuna also has his own Graviton, so we'll see how both these teams decide to use him aggressively. Gotta watch out for Diva though.
They go in very aggro, but they don't find the opening to get the Graviton Surge in. Instead, it's Young and Beautiful that take initiative, and as a result, they're just going to clean up with all their kills. They were looking to try and force something. They're trying to get past the defense matrix, but Onigod just not finding the timing to do so. And as a result, second point has been completed. And so far, it looks like the momentum fully in Young and Beautiful's favor, as it looks like they want to get a couple of extra kills here as they continue out the hunt down.
They want to make sure that Gustav can get the Sound Barrier quickly because they know that Only God still has that Graviton ready. He didn't use it in that last fight. And we do know that Angry Titans have a lot of contingency plans set up. A rally to Sound Barrier, a D.Va self-destruct if they need to create a little bit of space. So they need to make sure that Gustav can get a good amount of healing in, good amount of damage to have that Sound Barrier because they used Transcendence in that last fight. So they want to draw this out as long as possible.
D.Va Bomb goes in, and Only God uses that as his moment to strike. Throws in his own Graviton Surge, knowing that the D.Va can't catch it at that time. Bomb connects as well, gets rid of Tonic. And once you lose that Reinhardt, it is so hard to win fights with Ghost. Puts down the Shadow, just manages to get Gustav. They will manage to clean that one up, and losing your Reinhardt and your Lucio, that's definitely going to put an end to that fight there. So Angry Titans continuing their hold, and it looks like Young and Beautiful going to have to spring back on this one, but they're going to bounce back with a lot in their pocket.
They've just sort of been biding their time. They have Transcendence. They got it before the Sound Barrier, which is crazy enough, really. The Ding has been doing so much damage. Suna has another Graviton, wants to use it. Needs to be careful with Volleybolt yet again. But usually the Transcendence symbolizes that they're going to be very aggressive, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do if it wasn't for their own Transcendence.
Yeah, Transcendence just keeping people alive during all of that. So while the Grav does manage to sneak its way through, it's not going to turn into anything as Lucius now springing back, has the momentum of his team behind him, just keeping the barrier up, marching his way forward and grinding everybody down all the way to spawn almost, as he even connects with the charge, almost gets someone on that one. 2 minutes left, and Young and Beautiful now just pushed back into a corner.
All the way back, and they have so many ultimates on this defense now. Both teams having some barriers. Sooner using Graviton not really amounting to much, but Only God is ready to go. Getting a lot of good use out of the rally from before, because Only God still has the shield, and Nerky's ready to go with another rally, which shows how little damage they've been taking. So they're going to top themselves up again quite nicely for this engagement. And Beautiful been stalled out, less than 2 minutes to go.
Only God starting to put the pressure on. He has the Graviton Surge in his back pocket. He wants to try and find something for that, but Sooner finds a kill even earlier. Just Lucius taking all the pressure at the moment. Will end up dropping down. Only God on super high charge. He's trying to just brute force his way through, but now the Graviton Surge is going through on the back line. OPN in a lot of trouble. D.Va Bomb is out there though. Can it turn into anything? Doesn't look like it. Sound Barrier going to keep Angry Titans alive that little bit longer. D.Va Bomb goes up and over. Let's see if it finds anything. Doesn't quite, but does enable Graceful to get the kill onto Luddy. And now things are starting to devolve into a little bit of a slobber knocker here onto the point. Only God does go down though, losing that crucial Zarya on high charge. Gonna put a lot of DPS sort of out of the fight. There we go. Suna helps clean up. Lucius does end up going down, and the payload keeps on rolling towards the end of third.
Lol using the Earth Shatter, but not really getting as much as he may have hoped. Tonic has his Earth Shatter ready too, with the Sun Barrier on Gustav, so they have a lot of backup in case they need it. This payload is getting very close to the end. 40 seconds left on the clock. It does look like Angry Titans are going to use this to push on in.
And they put a lot of pressure onto the Reinhardt straight away. Lucius kept alive though for as long as possible. There goes the Transcendence as well, keeping everybody nice and tickety-boo through the Graviton Surge. That's going to be just fine. Elevote taking a lot of pressure here, but IPM managing to get a kill on Graceful, losing your Brigitte, loses you a lot of healing, and it looks like Young and Beautiful know it. They're going to try and retreat, try and get onto the back foot here, and then maybe try and go for one more push, but with only 15 seconds left, that's going to be tough.
And now we're going to start to see Young and Beautiful having to regroup to an extent. They have no ultimates, they've got to go in clean, they've got 6 seconds on the clock. They need to even just touch the point, which might be hard enough, but the D.Va has to struggle to touch it. Might not be it. That's going to be a pretty significant description of Young and Beautiful so far. Just been close, but not close enough to finish out.
And so there we have it. Young and Beautiful almost pushing all the way to the end of third there. But on the defense, let's see what they can manage. They are rolled out with the Goats. Let's see if they're going to stick with playing that, or if they're going to try and change things up. If they're going to bring out the Orisa, we've seen that one sort of bubbling up more and more, sort of playing the high ground comps, which is sort of, you know, it's definitely a different style, and it's definitely very strong against the Goats comps, but it does have its own vulnerabilities. I think that's where the sort of the Hanzo and the Pharah start to come into it more. You can sort of dislodge people, poke them off the high ground maybe, and set yourself up with a nice advantage with like Dragon Strikes, and with Barrage, it's just to push people around a little bit more. But looks like actually they might be going for it. We do see the Orisa being teased at the moment. We do see a Torbjorn being teased. That would be very interesting to see that one coming out. If he does leave spawn with it, I'm going to be a somewhat happy man, I think. Yeah, yep, he's going.
It makes sense. Lutob is really good on this part of Hollywood, and really at this point, the loss is still there for Young and Beautiful. It's worth a try to see if they can break down this strategy. I just wonder where it's going to be good, so I do want to keep an eye on how Graceful wants to play this one out, see what he can do, but it does look like he's dedicated to it. He's going to put the turret down, work from there. So this is definitely happening. We're going to start to see Lutob in competitive, I think for the first time.
Yeah, new tour. Here we go. Well, in fairness, Australia played it against South Korea. I don't know how seriously that was being played, but Young and Beautiful, they're definitely going to be going for it. I mean, yeah, let's see how core are pretty strong. Only God going to be on the Tracer just for now. I think he's just waiting in spawn. There we go. Swaps to the McCree. So they will be running up with this sort of McCree comp from the looks of things. IPN swapping to the Zenyatta. And there we go. They sort of decided on what they want to be doing. The thing they're going to swap back, though, they have scattered out. Okay, well, the enemy team is doing something that's a little bit unorthodox. I think they've spotted the Orisa as well. And yes, they're going to change things up a little bit.
How they're going to change it? They only got onto the McCree. Very little otherwise. They're just sort of maybe, going back to make much more significant changes, looking to be much more tank orientated to try and break on through. So let's see how Torbjorn does against this with the ultimate that does a lot more damage to targets and the zone denial of throwing his turret into a lot of different positions. So very excited to see if there's any real interaction here or whether Goats just completely stomps through what Young and Beautiful are trying to do with his comp.
And what has to be perfect here, you can see Young and Beautiful doing it now. The rotations have to be spot on. They've managed to sort of get away, move on to the opposite side of the high ground. Turret's gone down, that's no big deal for modern Torbjorn. He can throw those wherever he wants. But the point is to just sort of slowly grind down. You can break the Ryan's barrier, try and get something done. But Young and Beautiful, they have lost position on the high ground actually. Lucio came up there, booped a bunch of people down. So now they've reset to the low ground. Graceful has popped sort of the buff that he's got for himself now. Has managed to get a lot of damage. Lucius goes down in front of him. The Torbjorn right clicks just coming in, decimating people. He's got Ding with him as well. But they can't really keep presence on the point. They've just managed to put a toe on there with that Orisa barrier. Graceful building up towards this Molten Tor as well. And slowly but surely it's actually starting to work out. Suna brings up the Deadeye, has forced Angry Titans just to wait by their time. Deadeye just burns out there. Steadily, slowly but surely, we're getting towards that Molten Core point. I want to see it. I want to see Splatoon on the point.
Coalescence does come out aggressively with taking out the turret. Here we go. Molten Core, a new version of it used there. Doesn't really get much, but does sort of maybe distract elements of like Urki, for example, being taken up by the Diva Bomb. But I really like the use of Orisa here, like you described, sort of toe on the point, making sure that you always have a foot in the door and able to contest it. Because of that, that's the reason why Young and Beautiful are able to stay on this point. Torbjorn is doing a pretty significant job of just causing a thorn in Angry Titan's side, making him a little bit more angry, but the Graviton is ready to go, and there's no Transcendence. There is no stun barrier to stop it, so they need to be very careful and try to spread out as much as possible.
Suna coming back from spawn has brought out the Junkrat. Graceful still on the Torbjorn. However, still has that zoning potential on the up. There goes the grapple size. The Diva Bomb's in there as well. The barrier's not quite in place. This could get something, but no, it doesn't really turn into anything from the looks of things. It doesn't really matter too much because they just get the kills regardless of the Diva Bomb. Angry Titans now in complete control as they just win it basically off the back of that single huge grab. One of the sort of the weaknesses, I suppose, of the Orisa comp is that everyone sort of has to stand behind the barrier. And that just sets them up quite nicely for the Zarya.
It's like a traffic cone, right? That it has a lot of force that you don't really want to pass it, but there's nothing strictly stopping you from passing an Orisa ultimate, much like the cone. It's just the threat of it, I suppose. But not only that, Angry Titans have a lot more ultimates in stock for this next push. Of course, Young and Beautiful are going to change up their lineup. Graceful switching over to the Doomfist. So there's a lot of ult economy going well on the side of Angry Titans, that they have a lot in store for these next couple of engagements. Reminder, they just need to push towards the end of the map. So this is nice progress, just over 3 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, taking it steady, just pushing down on Lucius a bit, trying to grind down the barrier, trying to fade out a few cooldowns. There goes the nano boost straight onto Lucius as well, just while he connects, but sound barrier to counter, coalescence even being used as well. Lucius drops the hammer. I don't think he hit anyone with that one. It's just a bit of a zoning hammer, I suppose. It's now they're going to start their re-engage, but it's going to be difficult playing into Graceful. He's still staying alive there. Just great job from his supports, keeping him running in this fight as they are slowly making progress on the payload. They have managed to get rid of Graceful at last, but the one issue with this Goats comp is they can't do anything. Oh no, the EMP gets stunned out. The EMP doesn't manage to go through, and that's going to be crucial here. Is now they have no great answer to just the tanky durability of this team. Anti-heal grenade does manage to go through, manages to catch two, but they just can't push into this. There's just too many barriers, too many boots, too many stuns, too many things just denying them, and this is just rolling on forward.
Graceful trying to get in, but stunned, gets out, has to use Meteor Strike to keep himself in the fight. Doesn't use it aggressively, but still takes out Luddy as he jumps onto the top of the jail. Bit unfortunate, really a bit unlucky on the side of Luddy. But now Young Beautiful have got the payload in a nice solid spot. They're able to sort of stall it out, and it does look like one by one Angry Titans are going to stop this one.
Yeah, Angry Titans actually, they're grinding their way through this. Only got still on very high percent charge as well, has just finds targets, grinds them through. It has dropped down to about half now. Still has Graviton Surge in his back pocket as well. They've managed to get a couple of late kills as well. That can translate into a few snowbally kills on the respawns. We'll see if what they can pick up on that one. Looks like actually everyone's going to get out nice and safely. Graceful just takes a bit of damage there, but will be just fine. Zenyatta coming and joining us here as well, as it looks like Angry Titans still just staying on the goats.
3 minutes on the clock just to sort of push ahead. They only really need to get 75 meters of just before this final parking spot for this car. Alfred Blitzbot will be making his way, and there's a Graviton on this offensive side too, but Gustav doesn't have a sound barrier. EMP does come in aggressively, doesn't quite get the picks just yet.
Yeah, EMP came through at the same time as that Earth Shadow, so it just doesn't really translate into too much of anything. Graviton Surge comes through though, Coalescence going right through the middle of it as well. A lot of damage coming into here, but really not converting as the healing is just too much at the moment. Everyone's still staying alive. Finally, kills start coming through. IPN takes the pin, goes down, but not before Angry Titans equalize with 2 more kills of their own. Ding, been removed. Danny just throwing still out on the point as long as possible. It looks like Angry Titans is going to win this one out. Now they've just got this final push to go, and 2 minutes on the clock to do it.
And Luddy's ready to go with the sound barrier to keep themselves on this point and fighting, so it's a really good opportunity for Angry Titans to finish this map out 4-0. There's not an awful lot on Young and Beautiful, and they need to be careful with how they approach this point. They don't want to be caught out too much, but the rally is almost ready to go for Graceful. Might be enough to just keep them going just a little while longer, but that stun is perfect. The synergy there was great.
The stun was perfect, but even more perfect was Bloody. He was just waiting on the side, doesn't get caught in that shadow and denies it with the sound barrier. And now they have to use that Transcendence just to stay alive. Rally coming up on the side of Angry Titans as they go in. Diva Bomb comes up and through. They don't quite get the stun on, but it still doesn't matter. They're still getting the kills. They're still finding the picks. And it looks like Angry Titans might be taking this one 4-0 as they clean up the final kills, push it through. And Angry Titans 4-0 against Young and Beautiful.
I think the scoreline definitely complements Angry Titans a bit too much than I would sort of prefer. Young and Beautiful did play this round fairly well. We had technical problems that they had to deal with. They didn't look too far behind Angry Titans, and certainly based off the Busan map that we saw to begin with, did look like Angry Titans may not be as prepared for the meta, but they brought out the stuff like Doomfist, Sombra, all sorts of different comps to just match whatever Young and Beautiful kind of throw at them. And there was a lot of curveballs there